Dave, deja vu, really. Here we are, another Manager of the Month trophy in the bag. Remarkable achievement to win that back-to-back.
Yeah, great achievement for everybody. And I suppose more reinforcement and congratulations to everybody that we're doing things well at the moment, and we're getting results that back that up. But I'd still be in a position where if we didn't get them awards and we weren't quite getting the results that we'd wanted, that'd be positive in terms of how we've gone about things. I still maintain that the difference between the first 6 games and the last 10 games is minimal. We've minimised our mistakes and not been punished for them mistakes, and we've been ruthless and clinical at the other end of the pitch. And when you combine those two things, then it's a pretty good recipe for winning football matches, and that has to continue for us. We have to ride the wave of momentum for as long as possible.
And when you look at the wins that you have racked up, I suppose the pleasing thing, you've won games in lots of different ways along the way, and that's a sign of a successful team, really.
Yeah, in terms of we've been goal scoring wise, I think in all of the games that we've won, apart from one, we've scored more than once in every game. And in some of those games, threes and fours and fives, which has been really pleasing. That gives you a good chance. But then on the flip side of that, we have been able to grind out clean sheets, which then only requires us to score once to win a game of football, which has happened. So yeah, there's been different facets, there've been different characteristics, there've been different personalities shown depending on what's required to win the game, which, as you say, whether you're home or away, you're going to be required to do that over the course of a season, which is, again, another real positive.
Although he didn't win the award, great to see Tanto get nominated for League Two Player of the Month as well. Recognition for him of another really successful month. From your point of view, has he changed anything, added to his game to reach this level, without saying, obviously, goals?
He's been really unfortunate, hasn't he? He ran into Louis Barry in September, and he's ran into Matt Smith, who scored 8 goals in October. So sometimes things happen like that. I think one thing for certain is that if he continues to score 5 goals a month for the next 3 months, I think he'll win it on one occasion. No, in terms of, like you say, it's that it ultimately comes down to numbers, doesn't it? For strikers and forward players, goals, goal involvement, that's always going to be what you're judged upon. There's still parts of his game that are very, very raw, but on the flip side of that, he has the raw ingredients that are a nightmare to defend against. And is putting the ball in the back of the net. He continues to listen, continues to work really hard at his game and at his finishing. He's not the most natural of finishers, hence why he has to work at it, but ultimately he's doing the thing that is the most difficult thing to do on a football pitch, and score goals in League Two. And like I said before, long may that continue. If he can now forge a different partnership with Louis being out and Woot's coming back and Paddy and Powley to involve in that setup, then I'm sure he can reach for him what would have been a goal as such at the start of the season in terms of numbers that he's produced this year. And if he does that, then we'll benefit from that and certainly be successful come the back end of the season.
Elsewhere, it was great to see the academy progress in the FA Youth Cup on Wednesday night, and another really impressive performance from Ashton Mee. I just wanted to wonder how you view his progress already this season and what the next maybe 6 to 12 months kind of look like for Ashton.
Yeah, Ash has been great. Really difficult when you look at what development football looks like in terms of still being a second year scholar. We had it with Cody, and the two of them are really mature for their age, so sometimes you forget how old they are and how much demand is on them from not just a physical and mental capacity to be able to train with the first team every day. He's obviously gone back with the youth team this week to prepare for the Youth Cup game last night. Got himself a goal, which from I suppose an attacking midfield perspective it is great. We need to put a plan together for him. He's probably, the dynamic is a different one with us because we still within our squad need a club developed player, if you like, to I suppose, tick a box in terms of us having 7 subs. So him or Cody fall into that, hence why their development plan sometimes will be almost opposite. One of them stay in for a little bit in terms of want to go out and get games. But I think with both them instances, we'll maintain that if we can get I'm not sure there is a perfect loan, but if we can get a near perfect loan for them in order for them to go and play men's football, then we'll absolutely look at it. But we're not in a rush. I think he benefits day in, day out from being in this environment and training with the players he plays with. He has the respect of the most senior pros within the squad because of how he behaves and because of his attitude to work, to want to learn, to improve, and to his ability. So he certainly doesn't not fit in within our group, and we're hopeful that he'll continue to progress. And one day, whenever that is, be that 6, 12, 18 months down the line, become a regular within our first team squad, as will be the case with other young lads we've got coming through the system.
Just in terms of injuries, obviously last weekend you lost Miles to injury. Challinor went off. Burner looked like he was struggling a little bit towards the end of the game. What's the latest on those guys? Yeah,
not good with Miles. I spoke after the game and I hoped it wouldn't be too significant, but he's got the same injury as he had on his opposite knee. So we're waiting for absolute confirmation in terms of what that looks like. We hope that it won't be surgery, it can manage conservatively, but that would still mean probably, well, we're certainly not going to see him this side of Christmas, that's for certain, regardless of which direction we go in, which isn't it's terrible for him. He's had 2 significant knee injuries, now the same injury in both knees. So he'll need, like I say, a little bit low at the moment. He'll need support. We need to get round him and get him back as soon as possible and as healthy as possible to give himself the best chance. Neuler and Burner, a little bit of cramp. Cramp for defenders is not a good thing, is it? But they've been out for a long period. They've taken some stick from me, the pair of them. But thankfully, no long-lasting effects of that. Both have trained this week, and we obviously need to get them more minutes and get them closer to being fully match fit. Because when they are, you look at, like I say, the depth of our squad that we were able to select on Saturday in the FA Cup game, and will be the case in games coming forward over the next week. It gives us an opportunity to get minutes into those lads' legs in particular, which then creates more competition for places for the whole squad in terms of coming into a really, really busy part of the season where I hope everyone's not required, but I imagine they will be.
And from your point of view as a manager, I mean, you mentioned there that the strength of the squad last weekend, the players that you've got returning from injury at the minute, it's a lot of players to keep happy. How do you sort of balance that from your point of view? Is that difficult?
We keep winning. Everyone's happy. Listen, I said to the players, and I'll speak really on, I've been there, so I know what it's like, but they all came here knowing what this club was and knowing that you only have to look round every single day in terms of your competitions around you, and your competition's really, really strong. So they know, again, if they really sit back and reflect, that they'll all get an opportunity. When they get that opportunity, they've got to grab it. There'll be some opportunities to come round through other people's misfortune. And I suppose if they want any sort of clarification of where they're at, there's case studies right in front of them in terms of Ryan Rydell, in terms of Stretz, in terms of Louis Barry, in terms of Miles at the moment that are out for significant periods through injury. So there are people in worse positions than them. They're in a place, most of them, where they're competitive. They can try and do whatever they can to force their way into the starting 11, whenever that might be. But I suppose rest easy that they'll get chances, and when them chances come about, they have to grab them like they did, like I say, in lots of instances on Saturday. Make sure you're ready to go, because if we're going to be successful between now and the end of the season, as I said before, the depth of our squad will be a huge contributing factor in that, and the quality that we have. Like I say, I hope to be proven right on that fact.
Just looking at Swindon, obviously the game there last season was a bit of an outlier, of course, with the early red card. I think usually when going there, you're going to expect them to come at you and have a go, because they don't really play any other way.
Yeah, they've been involved in some high-scoring games, should we say? Again, probably polar opposites to us, really, in terms of how they've fared in terms of results more than anything else. I think unbeaten in the first part of the season, and I think they've lost 7 out of the last 9, and are on a bit of a sticky run at the moment. But they're still a team that, if you look at data, some people look at data, some people couldn't even care less about data. In terms of expected goals, in terms of chances from open play, they're right up there. They were top of the league, and they're still at the top. So they make chances and have goal scorers and threats at the top end of the pitch. What they have been, though, is pretty open, and have conceded goals at the other end. And I think, regardless of what they've been through, there's always going to be more spotlight on a team that, in the FA Cup last weekend, with a very strong team out, concede 7 or a 7-0 down against the National League team. That's the bit that's, I suppose, made them an outlier in terms of what it looks like. They've been, or they would have been, recognised at being not on a great run, but that's a standout result that goes, oof, what's happening there? They go to Colchester, on Tuesday, and I watched the game. The first half of the game, they were comfortable, in control, in front. Probably should have been more in front, but conceded 3-4 minutes into the second half and changed the dynamic of the game. And they're a little bit fragile at the moment, but they have threats. We've got to make sure, from our perspective, that we go and produce the level of performance that we have over the past 2 months. And regardless of who we play, if that's the case, then we have a chance of going there and winning. And that's the biggest thing for us, is to continue this winning run that we're on. And like I said, ride that wave of momentum to get as many points as we can as quickly as possible.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Good luck.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.